Recently, we had a chance to talk with Mr. Frank Zappa, the founding member of the Mothers of Invention. We found out what it's doing right now. We said, Frank, what the heck are you working on? Here's what he had to say.
The thing that we're mixing right now is a live CD-only project called Does Humor Belong in Music? And it's going to be a full-length CD, 72 minutes. And it's going out concurrently with the commercial release of the television show Does Humor Belong in Music, which we made with PMI.
Now, we also asked him about the synclavier, which is a very interesting instrument he's using. How the heck do you use that, Frank?
I'm making another album, which will be released in black vinyl and digital, that is played only by this machine. It plays all the notes exactly right. It's not cheaper, but it is far more accurate, and it can make sounds that human beings can't make, and it can play very difficult rhythms exactly. And since a lot of the stuff that I write has hard rhythms in it, this is the ideal instrument for me.
Now, the amazing thing about that interview with Frank is the lady that you saw playing that synclavier, that was her very first time playing that instrument, and I understand most people have 10, 12 years of training to do that. After this message, we have Mr. Frank Zappa doing Inca Roads right here on Video 22. Party time here on Video 22. Now, as you know, all week long we're taking a look at Mr. Frank Zappa in our video files. We saw the video Inca Roads here yesterday. There's some incredible clay animation in it. I guess it's called claymation. And we want to know who's responsible for that and from where were the excerpts taken. This is what Frank had to say about it.
Right. The guy's name is Bruce Bickford, and he does clay animation. He worked for me for 8 years. And there's still, I guess, about an hour and 10 minutes of it that hasn't even been put into any format, that's just sitting in the other room that's not completed. And the film Baby Snakes, which will be available mail order right now through 818 Pumpkin if you want to get a cassette of it, since it's not in theaters and nobody has showed it on cable. It has a lot of this clay animation in it. And you're going to play Stinkfoot and part of Inca Roads. That should give you an idea of the type of stuff that it is. It's pretty unbelievable.
Here is Frank Zappa with Stinkfoot. Oh, that's terrible. Los Lobos with Don't Worry Baby, back in studio here with Louis Perez. Now, as you know, as you well know, we had a chance to talk with Frank Zappa this week, all week long in our video files. And Louis, what were the things that we asked Frankie about?
Well, first we asked him about what he thought about the state of rock videos.
Let's see what he had to say.
Video, the way people think about it today, is it's kind of a narrow view of what the medium can do. A lot of the techniques that are used in contemporary videos could be traced back in their to their roots to a film called 200 Motels, which I made about 1970. And a lot of the ideas of show the band, show a situation describing the song, cut back and forth between those things, that's been done a long time ago. Unfortunately, it was done at a time when nobody could have ever imagined that they would show videos on television. And to back that up, the producer of this particular film, 200 Motels, thought he was going to be a really smart businessman. Since 200 Motels was the first feature-length film to be shot entirely on video, there was about 20 or 30 90-minute reels, which were the original negative of the film. And those are those big 2-inch tapes. And when all the shooting was done and the videotape had been transferred to film, he had all of those reels bulk erased and sold for scrap, netting about $2,000. Oh, and he thought he was a really smart businessman.
He asked Frank, if it was up to you, Pancho, how would you use video differently?
Well, video can be used to do a lot of things other than show the close-up of the girl's legs when she gets out of the car, and the doves taking off when the girl in the white dress twirls around and all that stuff. The close-up of the red shoes, the cheap atomic bomb explosion, all the things that... We have a song called Be In My Video that talks about these things. It's just that because so many people are afraid of their jobs, and they happen to be in a business like you, they're all concerned about not being too different. That's why things tend to look, sound, and smell the same. That's because nobody wants to take a chance. The real hostage crisis.
Yes, the real hostage crisis from Frank. An electrifying interview and an illuminating one at that.
I agree.
What's the most fun for you about being in Los Lobos?
The hours.
I think that's... All week long, we're taking a look at Mr. Frank Zappa. We had a chance to talk with Frank, and we asked him, how hard is it for an artist to get their video played in the air, and why do so many of them look the same? And here's what Frank had to say about that.
At another channel, which we won't name, they have regulations that narrow the spectrum of what is permissible in a video. In other words, if your video doesn't look exactly like this video over here, it's not going to get aired. Now, let's talk about the extreme unfairness to the groups involved in making videos. The group is expected to pay for the video out of their own pocket. The record company may, in some instances, advance the money to do the production. But before that group sees any record royalties, the company gets all the money for the video back. So the group has to take a chance and invest in a video, okay? So what do? They want to make sure that their video is going to go on. So they insist on making it look exactly the same as the other guy's video. So consequently, you have a handful of directors that do all the videos because they can make them look all the same because they actually made the last one, you know? So everything shrivels down to nothing. And meanwhile, the audience that really just wants entertainment, they like music, they want to see pictures moving in time with the music, they don't realize the grim aspects of what's really going on behind the scenes. And in some instances, we don't want to use this ugly word, but there is payola involved. So if you've made this video that looks like everybody else's video, even that's not going to get it on the air unless you pay off to make them play your bland average video.
So we then asked Frank, so why is it so tough for you to get your videos on the air, big fella?
Well, I think that in general, in the work that I do, there is something to offend everyone. And that's the way I like it, and that's the way my fans like it, but the broadcasting of the material is a different story.
Here's Frank Zappa with a great, great remake of an old tune. This one's called Whipping Post for you on Video 22. Mr. Frank Zappa, we asked Frank, is there anything you'd like to sell us? Here's what he said.
This is a book. It's called Them or Us, and it's funny. It's available mail order, 818 Pumpkin. For those of you who have heard about it and have never seen it, this is the old Masters box. It's $100. 818 Pumpkin. This has the original Verve LPs with the Mothers of Invention, plus the mystery disc, all of them digitally remastered. And it comes with the deluxe book. All these products are available mail order because real-world business people think they're a little bit too strange to put into normal stores.
So for you that would like to get something from Frank, that's 818 Pumpkin for all you Ooze boys. Right after this message, we have Be in My Video from Mr. Frank Zappa.